I believe every person, every company need to use AI at its maximum. And that's what we teach our students. And that's what we try to do here at Augment as well. If you don't want to lose in today's world, it's not optional than to use AI. And I think it was this part. So we have two parts to our AI course. This part was really about the mindset and understanding how important it is, how it will change the world, and why you should use it and why you should become at ease with it and not be afraid of AI, because a lot of people are still afraid. They don't want to try it because they don't want to not understand it.
You're listening to 0 to 1, the podcast where future unicorns get a start. Every week, we sit down with the founders actually building, the ones turning scrappy ideas into real-world companies. No fluff, no cliches, just raw insights, hard lessons, and the playbooks that VCs and top operators don't share publicly. We're your hosts, Jonathan, Matteo, and Gary. Three friends obsessed with turning 0 into 1. Ready to build something legendary? Let's dive in.
Thank you so much, Roy, for your time. We're so excited to host you today with 0 to 1. So, as the co-founder of Augment, the online business school launched from HEC that's innovating the MBA model. You built a premium video-first practitioner-taught program that just hit a little more than 600K of MRR. Am I right now?
It's not really MRR, but the number is correct.
Perfect. Within just 2 or 3 years of after launching, you're displacing traditional MBAs with simplicity, community, and module expansion. So a very different approach than traditional business schools. And before that, you launched a first pandemic side hustle that shaped your go-to-market strategies, I guess. So welcome, Roy, to 0 to 1.
Thank you so much, Jonathan and Matteo. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So can you introduce yourself for our audience and tell us exactly what's Augment and vision with it?
Yes, of course. So I'm Roy. I grew up in Belgium. I then studied in London. I think I did the same studies as you, Jonathan. And then I moved to Paris, where I did my master at HEC. So Augment, what is it? It's an online business school where we build the greatest business course on the internet. The goal is to find the greatest people to teach business courses. So we have the founder of YouTube, the founder of Shazam, the founder of Waze, the founder of Wikipedia, and only top people teaching in our program. Our goal is to build the greatest business education on the internet, to build a community of like-minded people, of entrepreneurs, of people who wants to push forward. So that's what we have been building for the past 3 years now.
Amazing. And just before diving deeper into Augment, can you maybe walk us through your early beginnings when you were still a student at HEC and you wanted to have a first glimpse of what entrepreneurship was about? So if I'm not wrong, that led you to build a business during COVID, a side hustle, if I'm not wrong. So maybe can you maybe tell us what it taught you, as well as if you would recommend this experience for anyone out there who wants to get into entrepreneurship?
So my second year at HEC, I was doing a master in digital entrepreneurship. And it was during COVID. So I was in Belgium, the master was in Paris, all the courses were online. So instead of being just at home and doing nothing instead of the course, I decided to launch my first company. And I think it was a great decision because you are still supposed to be at school, you have basically no risk because you are not supposed to build. So with a friend who really liked 3D printer, convinced me that there was something to do with 3D printers. I didn't know anything about 3D printing. I'm not a manual person, but it was a good friend, someone I trusted, and I was in for the adventure. And very quickly, when we were looking for what could we print and then be able to send. And very quickly, we realized that there was a problem is that people with glasses during the COVID, they had a lot of fog that goes into their glasses. And this is because of the mask. And so we decided to invent a clip that you could put on the mask to prevent the fog to go on the glasses. And as soon as we found this product, I really had that feeling that this could become big because it was very easy. It fixes a big problem. A lot of people had that problems. I was like, okay, we've got something. So as soon as we print the first 10 clip, I went to pharmacies. I was still in Belgium at the time. I went to pharmacies, put some clips in just a vase. And I told them, please put it there with like anti-fog solution. After 2 days, everything was gone. The pharmacist called me back. I want to order more. And since then, we decided, okay, let's go all in on this product. Let's buy more 3D printer. Let's find ways to sell it. Of course, it's good to have the product. It's good to find one pharmacy in Brussels. The goal is to find the distribution. I think this first experience taught me the power of distribution. At first, I thought I needed to go and sell to pharmacies directly, okay, and to do pharmacies one by one. But I realized quickly that wasn't very efficient. And then with a bit of luck and a bit of just trying different stuff, there is a guy that called me and said, okay, I have a lot of pharmacy that are my clients and I'm used to sell them products. Can I sell your products? And I was like, yes, of course. Why not? Then I send the guy a lot of product and very quickly, every day, sale, this pharmacy 100 clip, this pharmacy 100 clip, this pharmacy 500 clip. And I'm like, this guy is selling for me every single day. I need to find guys like him all over France. And so at the time, I found like 35 people in France willing to sell my product. And so I received all the commands every single day. So I think what this first experience taught me was really the power of distribution. You can have the greatest product. You need to find a way to put it in front of people. And so, yeah, it was a crazy adventure. We started with one 3D printer. We ended the year with 30 3D printers. We sold 1 million clips all over France, Belgium, also some in Africa. So it was crazy. And after a year, what happened is that COVID ended. We needed to find another product to print because we had those 30 3D printer. We tried something else, something that I found online, which happened to be not a great idea, but it was fine. I decided after a year that it was my time to move on, to go back to Paris and to build something that is a bit more like me. And very, very quickly with Ariel, we decided to go and to start building Augment.
What was the revenue you made? So you sold 1 million clips. How much revenue?
It was 500K.
Great.
Yeah, it was a lot of money for us. It was a lot of money. It was crazy, honestly. It was crazy. Like from one day to the other, we started making revenue. We sold to Carrefour. We sold to big brands. And yeah, I've learned a lot. I've also learned, so I learned the power of distribution and I learned the power of full dedication. 3D printer, we were only two, of course. We didn't have any employee. They were running 24/7. So it was 7 days a week. No rest, just even the weekend, we just had to go at 8 a.m. to restart all the machine, to go back at 9, at 8 p.m. to restart all the machine for the night. So yeah, we didn't stop. We were really all in, full time. I was living a dream. I mean, I was supposed to be in class. I was selling, doing business. It was the first time in my life. So no, I have only very good memories of this company, and my co-founder is still working in this company today. He decided to continue and is very happy building his company, having his 3D printer. He is the one technical. He knows how to print stuff. So now he had to learn how to sell, and he's doing really well. For me, it would have been more difficult if I wanted to continue that company alone.
And unique, so that you'll be able to restart this business model. But no, joke aside, I think what's very interesting is that you're this type of business is definitely not like a passion business, definitely not like what you are doing at Augment. Like maybe for our listeners who are wondering, should I start a business I'm not passionate about? What would you recommend them?
This is a story that is true and that I like to say that Ariel and I, so Ariel is my co-founder at Augment right now. We are very different type of entrepreneurs. Ariel can only work on subject he's passionate about, while I really like the entrepreneurial journey no matter what. I like the conquest. I like the fact that I want to win. I want to build a team. And so the subject is not as important to me that it can be for other people. So really for me, I'm in a situation right now with Augment that I'm very lucky to be in because I also really love the product and I'm really passionate about what we do. But even if I wasn't, I would have put the exact same energy and same passion because I don't care. It's not that I don't care, but I really love entrepreneurship. This is what I care about. I want to become a leader. I want to build a successful company. I want to have a great team. I want to go to the office every single day with my team. So this is what I like about entrepreneurship. So really, I find myself very lucky to be building Augment because it's a subject that I know that I love. It's how to build great companies and to build great business classes. I, of course, listen to a lot of podcasts, watch a lot of YouTube videos about entrepreneurship. So I really love what I do. But I think I'm someone I could be working on any subject and find pleasure in building and growing any company.
It's a great mentality. What was like the click or the aha moment that you wanted to start a company? You studied math, you were a bit technical, I'd say. It's very different if like the way you study and the way you operate in life. And what led to the gap that you and Ariel you co-founded now saw at HEC that led to Augment? What was the gap that you and Ariel saw at HEC that led to Augment? Like from being a traditional student, studying well, like you also had that passion for like doing stuff by your own, starting your own business during HEC. What led to like starting a different like online business school? What was like the major problem you saw at HEC or during your previous studies?
So I always knew I was an entrepreneur. I never really wanted to work anywhere. I knew that's what I was going to do with my life, to start projects and to start from scratch and to try to lead them. That was never really a decision for me. And I think that was my luck in a way, because of course at HEC you met a lot of brilliant people very smart, but because they are so smart, they have other opportunities. They can go into finance, into consulting. I really don't think I have the brain for those kind of jobs, consulting, finance. So for me, it was very easy. I had no choice. My only choice was to build companies and try to be successful in it. So that was very clear from the start for me. And the reason why we started Augment is that we went to business school to learn how to be entrepreneurs. And we realized that business school were more for people who wanted to go into corporate, into those big consulting firm, into finance, into private equity. But if you really wanted to learn the 0 to 1, exactly as your podcast, the 0 to 1, how to build companies, then business school aren't the best place. They are simply not the best place. Of course, you will meet incredible people. Of course, going to one of the best business school will help you raise funds once you go out of that business school, no doubt, and we are not debating that. But the course that you get in business school are just not made for entrepreneurs. And we're like, okay, we will build the solution that we would have liked, the one content that we consume on the internet to learn how to become an entrepreneur. Of course, I was watching, it was at the time, The Family. The Family with Usama Amar. I was watching all of it and I was loving it. And I felt like I was learning something. So the goal was to replicate that, to build a premium business education where everything that you learn are based on experience, on people who have done it and who can teach you what it actually takes to become a successful entrepreneur.
No, definitely. I really strongly agreed with what you said. Even though, like schools nowadays are trying to incorporate like an entrepreneurship major into their programs, I really think, those programs are very, very outdated. And sometimes those courses are taught by people who have never done it themselves. So it's kind of like I personally, don't really agree with those type of courses. I think you should experience it on your own by doing, for sure.
There was an incredible story at the beginning of Augment. I knew someone teaching entrepreneurship at Polytechnic. And the guy, a very nice guy, couldn't comprehend how we raised money with a deck. And he was like, this is the total opposite of everything that I teach in Polytechnic. And so for him, it was, the fuck? I don't understand it. And I think it was just the proof that, okay, no business model, no market studies, nothing basically. But still, with the right amount of energy, passion, and of course, the right strategies in the real world, then you can make things happen. And this cannot be really taught in school.
you raised 1.5 million at first, I think. So you did a BSA, right? A safe. Can you tell us about that and how to raise from a deck that amount of money?
So yes, I think we've got a big, we got a big moment. We were able, first we raised 1.2 million. And then during the year, more people came in the safe and it ended up at 2 million. But we really raised 1.2 million with only a deck, with Ariel and I having almost no experience whatsoever in the professional world. But yeah, we got the momentum. We managed to take advantage of it. People were excited by what we were building. I think also my co-founder was a master in fundraising, even though he didn't have really any experience, but he managed to do it really well. And I think what we learned is that the bigger the vision, the crazier the project, the higher your chance to raise money. People may think that it needs to be realistic. And actually, it's quite the opposite. If people want to raise in pre-seed, they need to do a big bet. And so our bet was, we are two people, 25 years old. We know nothing, but we are going to find the best entrepreneurs in the world, the biggest one, to create masterclass with us, beautifully produced in Paris, and we will be able to sell our program in the US. Because from the start, we said we are going to build something for the US market. Because if we manage to create the Duolingo for business in the US, then it's a huge company. And that's what we are trying to do. And the vision that we had at the time is still exactly the same today, which is quite incredible because most businesses, they pivot and they change direction. And with my co-founder, I think it was 2 days ago, we talked about that. The deck that we had, the first deck that we made is so similar to the business that we have today.
So you stick to the original vision and went along with it. Did you investigate, the competition in the US? Because I know there are a lot of platforms nowadays that exist for everything online learning related, like Udemy, Masterclass, a lot of similar platforms. So did they exist when you decided to launch Augment, or were you like, I don't care, we'll see how that turns out?
No, this is super important. You have to know the competition inside out. Before you launch something, you have to know what's out there. And we knew exactly what was out there. And actually, in what we are trying to do, we were quite alone. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Usually it's not because something doesn't exist that it's a good business opportunity. But in our positioning, there was nothing quite like us. And on the other side, there was something quite like us in Spain. Very successful. So our goal it was, okay, how can we replicate what those people did in Spain and do it in the US in a very premium way? That was our bet. And for 2 years, it was extremely difficult. And this year, very recently, now it's starting to pay off and we are growing very fast. But it wasn't a walk in the park at all.
Okay. Super interesting. Maybe let's dive deeper into how you build the product, how you build the platform. I know you have a mantra, the simplicity filter. I don't know if that's right.
It's right.
Maybe can you explain what this simplicity filter is about and how it shapes product decisions? And if you can illustrate with an example, that will be amazing.
So our product is not like the typical SaaS product. What we sell is not a product, it's content. So for the product, we use a platform called Thinkific. They are behind all the online course, and you plug your video, you plug your quizzes, you plug everything that you want. But I'm not building a product, basically. I'm building a great content. And how it worked for us. We knew that we wanted to launch fast. This is a typical advice that I think is right for any entrepreneur. Don't overthink it. Launch fast, try to sell, and then improve afterwards. So we wanted to launch fast. But in order to launch fast, we needed to have the core of what we believe will be Augment in the MVP. So we said that, okay, first we need to build some course with some incredible people because this is our value proposition, to learn from incredible people. So it was only Ariel and I. We managed to sign the founder of Wikipedia, Waze, Shazam, Eventbrite, and 4 other top instructors. In a span of 2 months, we did the 4 filming. Each filming had 2 instructors. It was extremely intense because at each filming, 30 people in the production. We cannot miss. We invest so much money into this filming. We cannot miss. We pay the production company. We pay the 2 guests. So much money involved that we cannot miss. So we were only focused on building the best course. And that was for 2 months, only Ariane and I. Then we had the video. We needed to do all the post-production. We needed to find a platform. In like 3 months, we decided, okay, let's launch a first version. It's absolutely not great. It's even terrible. The only thing that we believe is very good are our videos. The videos are exactly how we wanted them to be and exactly how we sold the vision to investor. That was the videos. They were perfect. But everything but the videos were very MVP. It was literally like the minimum we could do.
A little point on the guests that you had. How did you manage to get them to go on your platform? You were nobody, just 2 guys in Paris just saying, I want to start a course in the US. What made them come to Paris? Did you give them a check? Did you give them equity? Like, what was the deal that you had with them to onboard them on Augmented, the project and the vision you had?
And also, did you seduce them with your French accent?
Definitely. No, but it's not a joke, actually. At the beginning, I was extremely stressed to do a business for the US. English is not my strongest skill. Definitely. I was scared, but at some point I just say, fuck it. I will figure it out. It will be fine. And at the end of the day, that's also why I like simplicity. I want people to understand me, whatever. I want things to be simple. If I cannot explain them in English, means probably that it's too difficult. So I always try to make sure that I explain things to anyone in the team like a child, because things need to be simple. If it's too complicated, if someone explains me something that I don't understand, for me, it's too complicated. It's not that I didn't understand, it's that it's too complicated or that you don't know how to explain it. I'm not smart. I'm not a genius. I'm not dumb. So if you don't manage to explain me something that I can understand, you don't know how to explain things. So for me, being able to explain things very simply, it's one of the biggest skills you can have as an entrepreneur. And that's the reason why I sold this program to so many Americans. And I was, of course, the first salesperson of the company doing like calls like this, exactly calls like this, trying to sell the program with my French accent, with the mistake that I make. But I always believe that if you put a lot of energy, that you have like a huge smile, you can do anything. So like smiling and energy are my 2 mantra when trying to build something, to sell something. And so what we did with that is that at the beginning, we sent a lot of cold email to people in the Silicon Valley that we thought would be great first instructors. And one day we got an answer from the founder of Shazam. Shazam was extremely interesting for us because everyone knows Shazam. Everyone loves Shazam. It's a B2C company. So it was good. It was very good. It was very exciting. The guy answered to us. We did multiple Zoom calls because, as you said, we had nothing to show, not even a website. We never done any production before. And we were saying like, we are going to film you as if you were on Netflix. And he told us, okay, guys, come to San Francisco so we can meet in person. So Ariel and I, we flew to San Francisco. We met him. And then it's about trust. It's about like, can we make this guy trust us that we will be able to create a course that he will be proud of, that he will want to share the Shazam story. And we managed to convince him. Of course, we needed to pay a lot of money, and that's fine. He has built this company. That's how the world works. You pay people when they deserve it, and he deserves it. So we managed to find a deal. And then it was easier to get the second one because we could tell, okay, we have the founder of Shazam that is doing that with us. So we found the founder of Eventbrite. And then we find the founder of Wikipedia. And now, after 3 years, it's incredible people who wants to do course with us because they can see the quality, they can see next to who they will be next to, and they are happy to be next to those founders. We've got the founder of YouTube right now. So yeah, that was incredible at the beginning. That was difficult. It took us a few months to find the first person, but then we found a way. We also found that there was agency, like middlemen between those people. So you found the agency, you have to prove and to gain the trust of the agency. So they will go to their speaker and say, okay, I have this opportunity with Augment. And we know Augment, they are good people. So trust us, it will be fine. So we found the way to attract those people.
What do you mean by agency exactly? I'm kind of a bit confused there.
So let's say those business speakers, they have agents. They have people managing their career. Okay. And those agents, a lot like a football agent, he doesn't have one football player. He has like 15 football players. So if you find the agent that has 15 business speakers and that you convince him that you are a good partner, then the agent, he will go to his 15 speaker and will say, are you interested to do something with Augment?
Okay, super clear and super interesting. Yeah, I don't think it will be great if we do that at 0 to 1. Like, it's very specific to your type of company. But maybe, okay, so just a little question about how you evaluated guests. Like, what happened when how did you evaluate guests, and how are you convinced that they were good enough to be a speaker on your platform?
So of course, before doing a course with a guest, we look at everything they did online, all the videos, all the content, all the time they spoke, because we want people with charisma, people who speaks well, people who are not afraid of the camera. So all of that is really important. We also want people who have built B2C companies or that have worked for B2C companies. Not that B2B companies are not great. Of course, they are great, but we wanted our students to learn from people who have built companies that they know, so that they can relate and so that there is an emotional connection with them. If you use YouTube every single day and that you learn directly from the founder of YouTube, you will find it magical. Exactly like if you use Waze 2 times a day to go to work, to come back from work, and you are learning from the founder of Waze. I've had students tell me, it's crazy. I think I'm in a dream. I'm learning from the people who have built an app that I'm using every single day. So for us, it was extremely important to find people who have worked for those kind of companies. Of course, for example, right now, the main topics is AI, and it should be, because it's profound and it's very important. Our student wanted us to do a course on the AI, and we wanted to do a course on the AI. Which company will we choose? OpenAI. Of course, there are other great companies in AI, but the one that every single person knows is OpenAI ChatGPT. So we found the head of go-to-market at OpenAI. It's him. And we recently built a course with him. That's how we choose people.
Amazing. But isn't it a little bit paradoxal from, I don't know how to say English, but from the audience you're targeting? Because you're targeting also people that want to start companies, and most companies today are B2B. So isn't it a bit, there's a bit of a shift from that, no?
The fact that our students want to build B2B companies?
Yeah, only targeting like B2C companies and B2C courses for people that want to start B2B companies. Like, how's that?
We target entrepreneurs. That's why on our website you will see it's the MBA for entrepreneurs. We have aspiring entrepreneur, we have startup founder, we have business owner. And they all have in common the fact that they want to learn more about business. Most people, they never did any business class. We believe that it's extremely important. If you have a business that you pay $2,000 for a course and that you learn one single advice, it can change your whole business. And so it's totally worth it. So you will find different people for different reasons wanting to learn about entrepreneurship. Also, there is just some people, like I think it would have been the case for me, they just find it exciting to learn from those people and to learn from the best, from the people who have built billion-dollar companies. Just people, they love that. They love business content. And again, you never know. You will learn one advice, it can change your business.
There is also, if I'm not wrong, there is a community aspect within Augment. Like, you organize real life events in person in Paris, San Francisco, and Riyadh, which is very impressive. What made you want to build communities, especially in an online learning environment? Because I know in a lot of online learning platforms like Udemy, you don't have this sense of community. So why was community core to your business model from the beginning?
So actually, we always thought that there will be a community aspect, but we didn't expect the student to want that so much, and that it was so important for people to have that community aspect. And once we realized that it was so important for them, of course, we decided to double down and to create the right experience for them. So at Augment, you have all these online learning, self-learning parts, which are the videos that we created with those people that you do on your own alone. And then on top of that, we want to add that community layer. So it consists of live session. So we will bring an external expert. Anyone from the community can connect, ask question. We do it's kind of a podcast that we do with that guest, and then people can ask question, and it's available for anyone in the community. It's a good way for people to interact. For example, we do also onboarding calls. So every 2 weeks, all the people who onboarded into the program for the past 2 weeks, they can connect, meet people. We do breakout room, and it's so important for people to not feel alone. We are also in this period of time where loneliness, it's difficult. People want to meet other people, want to meet other entrepreneurs. And also, we are selling this program to not the YC kind of people. We are selling this program to really anyone, all around the United States, all around the Middle East. People who want to build good companies, not especially billion-dollar companies. They're ambitious, but they're also down to earth, and they want to meet other entrepreneurs. They want to learn from other entrepreneurs, and we need to create the right environment so that people can meet each other. And so we have all those live events, and on top of that, we try to organize as many as we can. Of course, it's very difficult to scale. It's in real life events. Now we are trying to find other ways to do it. We have ambassadors in many cities around the US and the Middle East. The goal is that those ambassadors organize this event, and we will pay for everything that they do together. So it's our way. Now we need to grow that community, grow the number of events, because if people can meet in real life thanks to Augment, I believe the positivity for them and for the company will be huge.
Very interesting. But as you mentioned, you were targeting most of the US market. So why choose building from Paris? Where you mentioned also that aside of community, why not be in the US? Because there's many companies that are emerging, like Augment. I don't know if you've heard about the School of Hot Dogs. You probably heard of them. They've got on Instagram and TikTok, and they're also millions of followers. And they're in the US. They're meeting the people in person. Isn't it a way of marketing, like direct marketing?
So yeah, it was always a question. We started from France because we were there. For the moment, we haven't seen any big reason to go there. We could one day. It's possible, definitely possible. And I hope that it will grow so big that we must go there. But for the moment, we are a very small team. So we were able to do 640K with only 3 full-time employees apart from Ariel and I. And we like this velocity that we have in Paris. We find very good people. We believe that also it's not only the US now, but we realize that we are very successful in the Middle East, in the UK, in Australia. I believe we can build a leader in our category from Paris. If one day the business requires us to go to the US, we will move over there. But for the moment, there was no reason for us to go. And so that's why we are still in Paris. And for the moment, it's working well. So no regret.
Okay, amazing. And so what early go-to-market tactics would you recommend a founder trying to break into the US market from abroad or not being there?
So of course, for us, the main way to attract customer is to do ads, mainly on Meta. And basically, for 2 years, we tried to do what every edtech company was doing. Basically, when you sell a program above 1,500, most program, whether it's a business program or if you want to learn how to do videos or whatever, they require that people book a call. Okay. So we thought that was the funnel. You do an ads, you make people book a call, you have a salesperson, and they buy the program. And it's really what we tried to do for 2 years because that's what all the competitors were doing. And at the end of last year, it was Black Friday. We decided to run an experiment. And instead of doing the ads, then ask people to book a call, we just changed the button to enroll now, to let people buy. Things happen. People started buying like crazy. But we were busy with 10 salespeople, and like managing and building a sales team, it's a lot of effort. You need to find the right people. They need to perform. You need to manage, to book calls for them, to have a good lead gen system, to have a good CRM, like the number of things that you need to nail to have a great sales team. I mean, if I needed to do that to have a successful business, I would have done it with big pleasure. But now we realize, okay, people are buying. So of course we don't have to pay the sales team. So the margin are much better. And also we found that the quality of the people buying went up. It was like there were so many people wanting to buy the program, but they didn't want to talk to anyone. They didn't want to talk to us. They just wanted to buy the program. They were successful entrepreneurs. They were working in very good companies. We have now a lot of engineers from Meta, from Google, from Microsoft. They want to learn about business, but they just didn't have the time. Okay, book a call, book the calendar. They just wanted to enroll now. So now in hindsight, it feels logical. But for 2 years, we didn't thought it was possible that people will buy a program for 1,715 just on the landing page. But now, for the past 6 months, we have proven that people actually do it and are happy about it. So that's how it worked for us. Now it's a game of doing great ads on Meta. And that's the beauty of our business. What's difficult when you spend on Meta is to create good ads and to invest in good ads and to do a filming for good ads. But we have a lot of material. All our classes, we have a lot of material. So all of our ads come from the content that we create for our students. So it's a win-win situation. And now we are in a position where we create new course. Our students are happy. Those new courses give us new marketing material that help us attract new customers. Okay? So now our goal is to go back to production more and more and more. Because the more we go to production, the more content we have for our students, the more happy our students are, and the more students we will attract with the new content that we create.
Super, super interesting. But just to react on that, when you're building something, when you're building a startup or a tech company, an advice that I see is given very often is talk to users. We have received many guests on the podcast who give us this basic advice, which is paramount, when building a company. But why I'm asking that is because, you noticed something about your users, which is the fact that they don't want to talk to a salespeople. Why didn't you talk to them earlier when you were building the product to notice this prior to running a lot of experiment and noticing this thereafter?
It's a good question, but we were not talking to those people. We were talking every single day to users because we were doing a lot of sales call. But we attracted the people who wanted to book a call with us, not the people who wanted to buy without booking a call. So I don't think there is a company who has talked that much to our students because we are talking to them every single day, all day. When you have a sales team, it's only talking to user. But what we realized is after that, there were some people who wanted to buy, but we didn't let them buy. And so after that, we realized, okay, so many people are buying. It probably meant that they wanted to buy before because they saw our ads for a long time, but they just didn't want to go through that process of applying and booking a call and stuff like this. So we realized it afterwards. Now the question is, how do we continue to talk to his user, even though now our growth is led by our marketing? That's why we do those onboarding calls. That's why I try to add people on LinkedIn. That's why I still do customer success myself to stay close to the user, to understand their problems. So I totally agree with the advice to talk to your user. And for us, it was a tricky situation. And that's the reason why it took us so long to understand it.
So do you still have the availability to book a call with you? Or is it fully just buy?
No, you still have the possibility. Now it's 80% marketing, 20% sales. So the good thing now is that because for 2 years we did sales, I would say that the DNA of the company is in sales. So now what happens is that 80% of the people, they buy on their own directly on the landing page or on our website. But then you have some people that still wants to book a call and they can do it. You have some people that we call abandoned cart. So they enter all the information and at the last click, they decided to not buy for any reason. And what we have now is that we have a sales team that is reaching out to them. But the more we grow, the more abandoned carts we have. So the more the sales team has to grow as the sales time. So now we have this good combination of 80%, 20%.
Super insightful insight. Very, very important. You mentioned like at the beginning of the podcast, how, the big trend nowadays is AI, which led you to reach out to OpenAI because it's the leading company building in a space and getting the go-to-market, head of go-to-market, if I'm not wrong, which is right behind you. So how do you think AI tools will reshape learning in the next few years? How do you think AI will play out in in how people build skills, and will people still be interested in buying online learning courses down the road if an AI can just explain them, how it works, and even we might have some avatars, like some virtual fake persona, which is an AI explaining you something. What do you think about it?
No, you're right. You are right. I think nowadays anyone can learn anything, but what we cannot really replace is experience and the mindset and what it takes to become an entrepreneur. So I think that's why Augment will always be important, to find people that can teach people. I think also some people wants to learn from people, and I believe it will also always be the case. There will be people wanting to learn from people and not from an AI. Probably you are right. The new generation, Gen Z, they will be more used to AI and they will learn on their own. It will be very different. What is interesting is that our program is bought by people around 35, 40 years old, a bit old school, I would say. That's why also they are so interested in learning about AI, because for them, maybe it's a little bit less native. So I just think that AI and what we do are going in the same direction. And no, I'm just super excited for the future. I believe every person, every company need to use AI at its maximum. And that's what we teach our students. And that's what we try to do here at Augment as well.
Do you have any or tactic that you've learned from the head of go-to-market from OpenAI that you can share us for our audience?
I think what he explained was how important was AI. And he explained also that you must use AI. It's not optional. If you don't want to lose in today's world, it's not optional than to use AI. And I think it was this part. So we have two parts to our AI course. This part was really about the mindset and understanding how important it is, how it will change the world, and why you should use it and why you should become at ease with it and not be afraid of AI, because a lot of people are still afraid. They don't want to try it because they don't want to not understand it. So that was the first course of AI. The second course was on prompt engineering. How to optimize, how to maximize the output that you can get from tools like ChatGPT. And this was by her, Georgia Lewis Anderson. And it's a great course. She explained like what you should do in order to get the best response. For example, a little advice that personally I didn't know. If you want to get from AI the best response, you first have to give it a persona. So if you want a recommendation on what you should do with your growth strategy, you can tell AI, okay, you are a growth operator. You have been working in tech for the past 20 years. You have seen the growth of this, and this. And now answer my question. Little tip, people didn't know it, very applicable. That's why we try to do at Augment, to teach things that people can try right after the course. The philosophy behind Augment courses.
For example, if we want dating advice, we can say, like, you are the CEO of Tinder. Help me.
Definitely.
Strategy. Joke aside, like, it's very super interesting what you said, and I very much relate with it. For example, there are so many courses out there on, like, for example, prompt engineering, and it can be overwhelming. But having, someone who is a leader in the space definitely will be encouraging to get me to learn about that. Now, do you have any like advice for like someone who wants to start a content first business today?
I guess my only advice is to build great content. Once you have great content, you can remix it, put it everywhere. So as everything, it's not easy. You are fighting with a lot of people putting content out there. For us, our competitive advantage was that we had some money and we were able to attract incredible people. So with those people, with the fact that we create and that we spend a lot of money on having a perfect set, having great condition, the best cameras, everything on the market. So our content is differentiating from the rest. And I think that people, they can notice that. They can notice the quality and they're like, okay, what is it? What is that? That's why they stop. So I wouldn't give an advice on how to grow a business content, especially because I realized that all the advice I gave over the time, I regret it instantly. Or after 1 year, I regret advice. I don't like actually advices too much. I believe every single business is different. You can give good advice about mindset and stuff like this, but advice on how someone should build his business. No one knows better than founders. That's my advice. Listen to no one, literally. If someone, because it's all about context. Okay, so my theory is that it's all about context. So if you don't have the whole context, you cannot give a good advice. Okay, entrepreneurs, they complain that their board member, for example, they are not useful. Okay, they are not useful. They don't really understand the business. Probably the reason for that is that they don't have all the context, because entrepreneurs, they don't want to say everything. Of course, we need to, some stuff you just want to keep it between you and your co-founder. And so advices in general in how to build companies, I'm not a big fan.
Apart from receiving the OpenAI head of go-to-market, what's your biggest milestone in the next 12 to 18 months with Augment?
And we want to reach 1 million per month. I think that what we try to instill in our team is to think like American. So let's say doing 6-7 million a year. It's, of course, I'm extremely proud, but I think for a US entrepreneur, it's nothing. It's the very, very beginning. And that's what I want to be the mindset of this team. We are at the very beginning. We are actually only scratching the surface. Last month, when we did 640K, we only onboarded 400 people. 400 people in the United States, in the Middle East, the US, and Australia. It's absolutely nothing. I don't see any reason why we couldn't attract 2,000 people per month, and maybe more. So I'm super excited. I want to keep building. I want to keep focusing. I want to keep creating great content, find the biggest guest out there. And actually, I won't tell it who, but we just signed the best guest that we could have for fundraising. So it will be live around October. We will film it in September. So I think that this year we'll still have one of two huge names coming to Augment.
Is the guy a VC or a
VC.
Okay. I might have an idea on who that is.
I can tell you after the call.
I think I guess. Okay, thank you so much on that, Roy. I think we're reaching to the end. Now, just some quick fire questions before we close it. So what's the lesson that you learned the hard way? Firing?
Yeah.
Firing people? Yeah, that's hard.
There is no soft way, basically.
Your favorite framework or tool that you have?
Framework.
Under the radar content creator that you love?
I really like the guy from Finari.
Oh,
Monet.
Yeah, he's good. We should host him, but he's in French.
do you have any advice for a 20-year-old founder in 2025?
Do stop yourself. Take advantage of AI. I think you have all the time in the world during your studies. Do as much as you can. Build as much app as you can. I think it's an extraordinary time for entrepreneurs. I think it will be AI is for entrepreneur, was made for entrepreneur. I became 10 times a better entrepreneur since AI came. I was not great, for example, at writing. I became a master. So I think if you're ambitious, if you're an entrepreneur, if you don't like to ask for permission, it's the best time in the world to build. I would have loved to be a young student, 20 years old, and to see ChatGPT coming up. I would have loved that.
Oh, it's definitely amazing, and like how much we can build today. It's mind blowing how easy it had become, for sure. And maybe last question before we let you go: who else do you think we should interview apart from Shazam, apart from the founder of Shazam?
I have a very good friend called Nail Sada. He was with me at King's, a real entrepreneur at heart. He is building now a company called Feel Reformed. It's e-commerce. They are selling coffee and they are growing extremely fast. A brilliant guy.
He's the co-founder of Neil, actually, a friend of mine.
Yes, exactly.
Another Neil, working guy. Okay, and last question. A movie or podcast that you recommend for our guests?
For a guest,
Could be personal, it could be business.
I forgot the name, but I love the movie about the story of McDonald's. What was the name again?
I think it's McDonald or whatever.
Yeah, but this one on Netflix.
Okay, thank you so much, Roy. It was a blast. So see you soon on Augment.
That's it for this episode of 0 to 1. If this gave you an idea, an edge, or the courage to build, send it to your friend, founder, or your team. Follow us, subscribe, and drop us a DM if there's someone you want to hear next. Until then, keep building, keep shipping, and go from 0 to 1.